So, bit of a controversial take, and I know that I'm probably in the minority when it comes to sort of putting this forward. But after this weekend, after we've seen all the riots in the UK, and of course, everything that happened in Southport was a tragedy, but none of these riots really had anything to do with the tragedy in Southport. All these riots were whipped up by social media and misinformation. Ultimately, that is the main core and reason. And I guarantee you this now. If we get a review or like someone looks into this, and I think we've already got people already coming out of different corners saying, actually, you need to look at all this misinformation that got spread on social media that caused a lot of these riots to begin with in the first place. So, what am I ultimate? What is my hot take on this situation? I am very much now of the opinion we should be banning Twitter or X as it is now called, but I still call it Twitter. Yeah, I am pretty much of the opinion now that we should be banning Twitter in the UK. Like every piece of misinformation that got spread around all these sort of rioters, how it all sort of spread, all came from Twitter. And I think it is high time we should be starting that conversation to go, it's not really worth keeping Twitter anymore. Let's just, let's just give it the boot. Because honestly, with the way that Musk is arguing with the EU, looks like the EU is going to probably ban Twitter. Certainly with the way that those arguments, or at least Musk is arguing, we'll see what happens when it goes to court. If he even makes it that far, maybe someone will, pull Elon out at the last moment of pushing the self-destruct button. But I am very much of the opinion now we need to act now and follow suit. And there's two things I think that really need to happen. But before we do get into that, yeah, please do let me know down below what you think. I'd be very interested from an audience perspective, sort of what you think on this as well. Of course, there's the like and share button as well. There's the Patreon page, there's the buy me a coffee link, there's the YouTube thank you button, and of course, as always, there's the Patreon page down below. So, first things first, it is the spread of misinformation that really started this. The original riot that happened in Southport, why they went down and went to attack a mosque was that there was this rumor going around on social media that there was this guy, we'll just call him a guy, but you know what these people were really insinuating he was. But there was this guy on social media who was heading to the memorial service that was going on at the time with a machete, and he was going to, start something. That's where all that started from. And that's why they specifically went and targeted that mosque. What did Twitter do about that? Nothing. Oh, there was community notes, but that was it. Remember, one of the first things Elon Musk did when he took over Twitter was he got rid of the big unit that was responsible for trying to say and deal with misinformation on Twitter. There is no unit in Twitter now that deals with misinformation on Facebook. Not only that, but Elon Musk welcomed back with open arms all the far-right accounts, Donald Trump, Alex Jones, all these big misinformation spreaders back onto the platform. Not only that, the other thing that should be really, once again, looked at as well, Russian disinformation bots, these troll farms. Because we know a lot of these accounts that have been spreading these, or initially the spread of these videos, taking these videos, getting them cut out of context, and then just spreading them as far wide as possible. And then bigger accounts have shared that, or other people have seen those and they've shared it, and it all spreads. That is something that we should also be taking very seriously as well. And let's say if Elon Musk ever gets before Parliament, should be asked, why are you doing nothing about these Russian disinformation bots that are on Twitter? And we know they're there. We know they're there. We've seen the explosion of it this weekend. You've got a lot of experts already been saying this on BBC. There was a guy saying, hey, no, we part of the big problem of this is the spread of misinformation, is the spread of these Russian disinformation bots that have been disseminating this information to cause things like these riots to happen in the UK. So time that we probably acted on that. I think we probably acted on that. And I know there's going to be someone that will say, oh, but if you ban Twitter, people find a way around it. Well, okay. How do you go about it? To be honest, it's quite complicated. It is quite complicated. And the reality is people out there are not as technically minded, I think, as people think. So if we did this, if you brought in this ban, not everyone is going to get around this. I'd say you've only got maybe about 10% of people would get around this, because why? There are alternatives. There are easier and better alternatives that people can have and have access to. Threads. Yeah, it's the meta alternative to Twitter, but give it a couple of years as they bring in more functionality and stuff, people will start using it more and more. We've already seen the numbers go up on Threads constantly for the past, since it's been starting. It's been only growing. I hesitate to say it, but Blue Sky and Mastodon, I think, are a bit too complicated for like average users. I think the whole circles thing and setting it up is a bit too complicated, because people want ease of use. And if you think about it, that's really what the most social, the most popular and social media platforms have always offered. They have offered the most ease of use, to be as simple as possible. And I think Blue Sky and Mastodon are a bit too involved for your average, I think, social media person to use. But then again, after this, what we also should do is really look at the online safety bill and really completely write that from the ground up, to really make social media companies actually take action on this, to deal with these problems. And not only that, but to go after influencers who knowingly spread misinformation. So obviously, people have talked about Farage and Tommy 10 names as well, spreading this information as well. Of course, Reform, Richard Trice, 30p Lee, all spreading this misinformation as well, all linked back to Russian bots. Shocking, shock horror. But again, it just goes to show you the extent of this misinformation. Ultimately, really, I think the cause of these riots, ultimately, at the end of the day. And to be honest, I think at this point, we should just ban Twitter. Just ban it from the UK, get rid of it. I think you would help solve a lot of problems right now. And to be honest, you lose nothing. You would lose nothing banning Twitter in the UK. There'll be some people that grumble about it, but like I say, there are alternatives that they can go to. And if they are so technically inclined, then they will, find a way around and use it. But that isn't going to be the vast majority of users. So, as always, let me know what you think down below. And of course, as always, there is the Buy Me Coffee link, the etc., all that down below. And of course, we'll see you all next time.